The little owl who couldn't stay awake. Once upon a time in the heart of an enchanted forest lived a little owl whose name was Woof. Now, Woof wasn't like the other owls. Oh no, while his fellow owls could stay awake all night long, hunting for mice and catching fish, Woof had a terrible problem. You see, every time he tried to stay awake after dark, he would simply fall fast asleep. Now, this didn't bother Woof too much when he was little, because his mom and dad would always take care of him. But one day when he was out hunting with his father, the trouble started. The two were flying silently through the dark night when suddenly they heard some squeaking coming from a nearby tree. "Look, Dad," said Woof, his eyes wide with excitement. "There's a mouse up there." His father nodded and prepared to swoop down, but Woof couldn't wait. He launched himself at the mouse before his father had even made a move. And halfway to the mouse, he fell fast asleep. Woof woke up dangling from a tree branch with the mouse long gone. His father, who had caught the mouse, flew down beside him and asked, "Are you all right, son?" "I tried to catch that mouse, Dad," said Woof, ashamed. "But I just couldn't stay awake." "It's all right, son," his father soothed. "You can stay awake as long as you need to if you have something important to do. Just think of it, son. When you really need to stay awake, your body won't let you fall asleep." With that, the wise old owl took his son back home, where his mother was waiting. "Mom, Dad, I'll never be able to hunt if I can't stay awake," Woof said glumly. "Don't worry, Woof," his mother said. "I'm sure you can do it. You just need to find a way to keep yourself awake." Now, Woof's parents thought that perhaps their son was just not trying hard enough. So the next time he fell asleep while hunting, instead of waking him up, they let him sleep. They figured that once he ran out of energy, he'd wake up and go home on his own. But much to their surprise, Woof slept all day and was still sleepy by the time the sun went down. So the next night, they tried a different approach. This time, they woke him up every half hour to make sure he wouldn't fall asleep. At first, Woof was very grateful for their help, but after being woken up over and over again, he started to get angry. "Why are you doing this, Mom? Why are you doing this, Dad?" he shouted. "You're ruining my sleep." His mother and father exchanged glances. It was clear that Woof would have to learn to stay awake on his own. Otherwise, he would never become a great hunter. So the following night, they told Woof that they would leave him alone and let him try to stay awake all on his own. "We believe in you, son," his father said. "Just remember what I told you. If you need to stay awake, your body won't let you fall asleep." And with that, they flew away, leaving Woof alone in the silent forest. At first, staying awake was very difficult for Woof. Every few minutes, he had the urge to close his eyes and rest, but he fought against it. Finally, as the moon climbed higher in the sky, Woof started to feel more awake. Suddenly, he heard some rustling in the bushes nearby. A field mouse had come out for a midnight snack. Closing his eyes would be easy now, but Woof remembered what his father had told him. So he stared hard at the mouse until it was safely back in its hole. Then he did it again with another mouse, and then another. Before long, Woof wasn't sleepy anymore. He felt proud of himself for staying awake and hunting on his own for the first time ever. From then on, Woof was a changed owl. Every night he would fly through the forest, hunting for food and staying awake as long as he needed to. One night, as he was flying back home from a successful hunt, he saw a group of young owls struggling to stay awake. They were taking turns closing their eyes and falling asleep. Seeing how hard they were trying, Woof decided to help them. "Hey there," he called. "What are you guys doing?" The young owls looked up and asked, "We want to stay awake, but we don't know how. Can you help us?" "Sure," said Woof. "All you have to do is think of something very important that you need to do. That should keep you awake." The young owls thanked Woof and tried to focus on staying awake. Meanwhile, Woof continued on his way home, but he hadn't flown far when he heard the sound of panicked squeaking. As he turned to look, he saw a fox running through the forest with a young owl dangling from its mouth. "Help!" the young owl cried. "Save me!" Without hesitation, Woof swooped down and attacked the fox, but it quickly ran away, dropping the young owl in the process. Are you alright? Woof asked, helping the young owl to his feet. Yeah, I guess so, the young owl replied, looking shaken. Thanks for saving me, I guess I owe you one. No problem, said Woof. Say, do you want to come hunting with me? I can teach you how to stay awake. Really? The young owl asked, his eyes lighting up. That would be great. Thanks, Woof, and so the two owls flew off together, with Woof teaching the young owl how to hunt and stay awake all night long. Meanwhile, the other young owls that Woof had helped earlier were struggling to stay awake. Even though they had something very important to do, they were still getting very sleepy. That's when Woof returned with the young owl he had saved, and the sight of them together gave the other young owls the strength they needed to stay awake. As the night wore on, Woof taught the young owls how to hunt, and they all had great success. By the time the sun started to rise, they had caught so much food that they would not have to worry about eating for days. And most importantly, they had learned how to stay awake through the night. From that day on, the young owls would often go hunting with Woof. They would spend the whole night catching fish and mice, and then they would go home and sleep until it was time to go hunting again. As the seasons passed, the young owls grew older and wiser, and they became great hunters thanks to Woof's help. And so the legend of Woof, the little owl who couldn't stay awake, was passed down through the owls of the Enchanted Forest for many years to come. The end. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. Subscribe for more adventures of animals from the Enchanted Forest. Have a nice day.